Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Mountain Standard Time. I'm Rob and I'm just a guy here in Colorado who loves to talk about watches. Thanks for joining me. And so the wristwatch of the day is the Tudor Pelagos. This has been the watch of the summer. I bought it the beginning of the summer. It still matches my eyes too. So awesome watch, you guys should check it out. Okay, so today's topic is the broad arrow mark on all these watches. You've seen it, right? The most recently, the Omega Speedmaster James Bond edition has this arrowhead mark on the face of the dial. And so I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm kind of into symbols. I went researching and looked up what this symbology is on these watches. Let's go all the way back to 1330. That is the earliest recording of when the British Empire used that symbol to identify that it was the king's property. So it's a broad arrow mark, which basically is supposed to look like the arrow head of an arrow. So pretty cool. It's a simple 3 lines making it look like it's an arrowhead. So the British government would use that to mark their property and to mark items that were purchased by the government or the monarchy's money. The broad arrow mark was famously used on some famous watches in the watch collecting world. Back during World War II, there was what we now know as what we now call as the Dirty Dozen watches. So during World War II, the British Ministry of Defense commissioned 12 companies to make watches for their soldiers and sailors. And those companies are the Dirty Dozen, Buren, Sima, Eterna, Grana, JLC, Lamagna, Longines, IWC, Omega, Record, Timor, and Vertex. I was thinking, oh, that's pretty cool. 12 watches, the Dirty Dozen. How cool would that be to go out and collect all 12 variants, different companies of this watch that was commissioned by the British government? And because there's a beginning and there's an end. There are 12, so it's not like you're collecting stamps and you're going to have to keep on collecting until you die. No, there's a beginning and an end, 1 through 12 of these watches that you can collect. So I thought, hey, how cool would that be? Doing some research on them, you can find some of these Dirty Dozen watches online for around $1,500. There's one watch in particular, the Grana, that it's speculated, according to record keeping back in the day, that there was 1 to 5,000 of these watches made, and most speculate that there were only 1,000 made. So it is very difficult to have a full collection of these watches because of that Grana watch that's almost like a unicorn. The other one that's hard to come by apparently is an IWC watch. So you've got Grana, IWC is the second hardest to find. In fact, I came across a collection of 10 watches of all Dirty Dozen, and they were missing the Grana and the IWC. And the guy was asking for $20,000 for 10 watches. Not bad. The one that seems to be most sought after for modern day sizing is the Longines. That had a 38 millimeter diameter case. So it's the biggest of the small guys. Most of them were around 35 millimeters wide. So there are a couple watches or watch companies that have emerged recently, 2 in particular that have been brought back to life. And the first one we're going to talk about is Zyrtex. And did I say Vertex? Zyrtex is an allergy drug. Vertex is the watch company, one of the Dirty Dozen. I'm going to keep that in. All right, so this is a pretty cool story. The Vertex great grandson has just recently started up the company, has brought it back to life. He used some of his own personal funds to bring it back. The name was still available. The ability to use the broad arrow symbol on his watches that he found out was easily achievable. So all these things that he wanted to do to start up his company, it happened for him. So congratulations to Vertex. The other one that has been reissued from the Dirty Dozen is the Timor watch company. So one thing that they've done is they've stayed true to their size. Timor's case size is 36.5 millimeters wide. So it's a little bit smaller, but it's going after how it was back during World War II. So it's stayed original. There you have it. Now you know why some of these watches have these broad arrow symbols. It's just basically reverting back to the original Dirty Dozen watches. So now you know. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching today. We'll catch you next time. Bye.